Hi there everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the guy-to-girl ratio at the Walt Disney World College Program. Now, I know what you're thinking to yourself. The Walt Disney World College Program guy-to-girl ratio, how is this any different than any other guy-to-girl ratio? I mean, it's roughly 50% to 50%, right? One guy to one girl. Well, I have to tell you this much, it's a lot different at the Walt Disney World College Program, and here I'm going to tell you why. To start off, like I said, the guy-to-girl ratio is not 1-to-1. It is not one guy to one girl. Instead, it's a little bit different. It's more like 2 guys to 3 girls. So if there's 2 guys, there's always going to be that third girl that's hanging around. There's always going to be that third wheel, that one that's just kind of hanging around, that number 5 that nobody knows what to do with. That's that third and last girl, okay? She's always there. But it's not exactly like that either. So it's 2 guys to 3 girls, but you know what? The guys are not just an even 2 to 3 ratio. There's a lot of different factors that go in there if you're trying to get a girlfriend or something else. Now, this is where the guy-to-girl ratio really comes into effect. Here, we're going to break it down for you real quick. Okay, so let's say that there is 10 guys. Each one of those guys is going to represent 10%, okay? So right there, those 10 guys is 100% of the guys working for the Walt Disney World College Program. Well, you don't really have 10 guys because at Walt Disney World, half of those guys are going to be gay. Now that's fine. I have absolutely nothing wrong with gay people. In fact, I encourage it because then that increases the ratio for me and more likely for me to get a girl, right? Okay, perfect. So you take 5 of those guys, we're going to cross them out. Okay, so already we're down to only 50% of the guys. If you remember from earlier, that means that those 3 girls are actually more like 6 to 2 right now. Okay, that's pretty good. So now we're down to 5 guys, right? We're down to that 50%. But you know what? Out of that 50%, yeah, you know those guys that you just can't date because they're probably too fat, too smelly, too weird, something's wrong with them. So we're going to knock another 20% off, okay? So we're going to knock those guys down. Boom. They are done. We are down to only 3 guys remaining out of our original 100%. So as I was saying, now we're down to our 3 last guys. So now we're down to 30% out of the original 100% of guys. So what is wrong with this last 3%? You might be asking yourself. Now one of them is going to be really obvious. At least 10% of what is remaining. So one of these guys is in love with Disney World. Now, I don't mean just likes Disney World. The average person is like, yes, we're going to Disney World. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be awesome. Let's go. We're going to ride some rides. It's going to be great. This person is something more like, yeah, we're going to Walt Disney World. It's going to be awesome. I know I was just here yesterday, but I don't care. What time does the park open up? 7 o'clock. I'm waking up at 6 o'clock so I can go to the park opening. It's going to be great. I know I did this yesterday, but today is going to be even better. And guess what? I'm going to bring my Duffy Bear with me too. That's right. I'm going to bring my Duffy and I'm going to push him around. And it's going to be awesome because this is Walt Disney World. Now this person, you cannot date because they are not wanting to date anyone else. They just want to date Walt Disney World. So that is another person that is down. So finally, we are down to our last 2 guys. We have knocked 80% of the original guys off of the list and are down to our final 2. Well, you're telling yourself, you know what, 20% of guys at Walt Disney World have got to be dateable. They've got to be okay. Something has got to be okay with at least 20% of these guys. But you know what, you are forgetting the most obvious thing when you get down to the best, 20%. Half of them, half of the people remaining, are already going to have a girlfriend, and they're going to be happy with their girlfriend, and because they are taken, they aren't going to do anything with anyone else. They're not going to date anyone else. So half of those people are gone. You cannot date them. That brings it down to only 10% remaining. At this point, you're telling yourself 10%. So these 10% guys get all of the girls. And remember, the girls already outnumber the guys 2 to 1, so already it's like 20 to 1 or something ridiculous at this point. But you know what? Out of that 10%, about half of them are not going to be looking for a girlfriend, okay? They're going to be happy being single. They're going to go out every night. They're going to party. They're going to drink. They're going to have a good time. But they do not want a girlfriend. So we're going to knock off the arms and say that what is left is about 4%. Because you're probably left with about 4 or 5%. So, actually, you know what? We're gonna knock it down even more. We're gonna say 3%. 3% is what you're left with. A guy with no arms is now down to 3% of the total guys you started off with. So, let's go and do some math. Originally, it's a 2 to 3 1 ratio. 2 to 3 ratio. 2 guys to 3 girls. You throw in the gay factor, it's now 1 guy to 3 girls. You throw in the weird factor, it's 0.6 to 3 girls. You throw in the Disney factor, those people that are just so crazy about Walt Disney World, you are down to 0.5. You put in the taken factor, you're at 0.33 or something. I don't even know anymore. Assuming I did all my math correctly, here, we're gonna punch in some numbers real quick. And let's see, approximately, I figure at the Walt Disney World College program, it is about 2 million girls to 1 guy. Okay, I figure it looks something like this. Maybe each girl represents 100,000 people. I don't know. I'm not really a math major. But moral of the story, if you're going to Walt Disney World and you are a guy and you are looking for a girl and you cannot get one, you should probably go someplace else. Maybe build a spaceship, hop in your spaceship and go to Venus, or that's where girls come from, right? Venus. So you go to Venus and you might be able to get an alien girl over there or something, because you are not going to be able to get another one. You are not going to be able to find a girl on Earth. So, with that, girls, good luck on finding a boyfriend down there. Guys, have fun with all of your options, okay? That's all I gotta say. And I know my math is incorrect at the end, but everything I told you is really true. There really is the gay factor, the weird factor, the Disney factor, and the taken factor. It all takes pretty much effect, and also the party factor, which I didn't even put into my math. So, everybody, if you go, I wish you luck.